And guess where I am? The happiest place on earth. I'm at Disney Hollywood Studios here in Orlando, Florida, and we are checking out the brand new Toy Story Land. We're marching all the way to the Supreme Court. We started off at the U.S. District Court down the street, and these people are standing against the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. And this has been going on. This has been going on for the past couple weeks. That's right, people are venturing out if they see the rain kind of calm down a little bit and to check out the damage around their home and in their towns. Now take a look here. We're getting into the spooky spirit for October, but we're going to take a tour. They have a zombie pop-up bar here, and it's all inspired by the movie of The Night of the Living Dead. And we're going to walk in, we're going to get a tour. After the death of two iconic celebrities, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade, suicide has been a big and very serious topic on a lot of people's minds. And what's really special about here is that this is the first theme park in the world to be autism certified. And everybody here had to go through special training, and they've added special things to help accommodate to families who have kids with autism, which is... Fast forward to 2018, and Mount Vernon, for the first time in centuries, has planted and harvested hemp.
It's just that kind of quiet peace that the whole world around you stops, and that is your mission. It's just very calming for me.
Once the helmet goes on, these fighters have one goal: to hit their opponent as many times as they can. It gets pretty violent, and despite that, fighters Sloan and Marie Brooks are killing it out there. Well, not literally. This is Armored Combat League.
I like to punch a lot, so that buckler is definitely good for that, especially with that nice good edge. You get a good couple of pops in there.
Traditionally, women weren't allowed to fight with the boys back in medieval ages, but here they've proven they're just as strong.
I've definitely had some blows from some women that I'm like, I felt that. I've definitely had bruises.
Because once they're in the list, which is where they'll duel head-to-head with their opponent, it doesn't really matter if you're a man or a woman. Marie says you just gotta have guts.
There is no gender in the list. There are only targets. So it does not matter to me who I'm fighting. It's you are across the field from me, you are my enemy for right now. This is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it as hard as we can.
Sloan fights for the Manchester Monarchs, and Marie fights for the Boston Dark Knights. They'll train up to 2 to 3 times a week at the Knights Hall in New Hampshire. It's run by Armored Combat League founder JT Brooks.
I've never known a group of people that was more welcoming, accepting of like our weirdness. Like, you have to be a special kind of something.
Crazy.
There are still some times Sloan and Marie will get afraid while battling, but the reward after is all worth it.
It's really thrilling to fight like the toughest guys and be like, I survived that, so.
For Circa, I'm Jennifer Munoz.
This started out as a spiritual journey, but it turned into a mission in memory of my mother, Patty Stein, and my grandmother and my grandfather, Leon Charles Stein.
More than 2,000 miles. That's how much Ryan Lee Garris will be pedaling on his bike from Ocean Beach, California to New York City. Along the way, he'll honor the people he's lost and raise money for fallen patriots.
It doesn't end on the battlefield, it goes home. Especially when they don't make it home, that family has to live with that loss. And it gets passed down in other generations.
Garris' grandfather was killed in action while serving in the Vietnam War.
Early morning, July 9th, 1965, him and another officer were in the compound, and they were overrun by about 300 Viet Cong, and they were killed instantly. My grandfather was sent back here, sent back to California, and not in one piece. My grandmother never got over it. She never got over the loss. I watched her deteriorate, psychologically over the years.
An important stop on his journey is Washington, D.C., here at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, where his grandfather, Leon Charles Stein's name is carved.
Coming here and doing that, seeing that, being able to rub my fingers across his name after all these miles, now is my turn to honor my grandmother and my mother and my grandfather. It's my turn to do that.
The money raised will go to children of fallen patriots to help pay for scholarships and educational counseling.
This mission is to keep Gold Star families alive, the memory of them, because they serve along with all these men and women on that wall, to be aware of the cost of freedom, of their freedom. It's a high cost. Again, you look at that wall, all those people on that wall have families. They have mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, nephews. They feel the cost every day. Some of them never get over it.
For Circa, I'm Jennifer Munoz. This is hemp, a vital crop in the 18th century that even one of our founding fathers, George Washington, grew at his farm on Mount Vernon.
This is, we think, such an important aspect of the founding of our country. Washington was agriculturally based. He believed we should be a storehouse and a granary to the world.
Hemp is often confused with its cousin plant, marijuana, but they're different. The THC level of hemp is 0.03%.
It has no effect on you whatsoever. It is totally and strictly for the fiber. Where marijuana is grown, it has 6 to 20% of THC.
So what was hemp used for?
Hemp is an industrial product. Hemp you use for food, fiber, and fuel.
After hemp was harvested, it went through a drying process so it could go through a hemp break.
Is literally breaks apart the straw-like center so that those hair-like fibers can be released.
Once they break and scrape the last of the straw pieces, it was combed through a bed of nails.
Now it looks like long blonde hair, and then it's ready to be spun into thread.
With this, Washington made ropes and sail canvases for his boats. Fast forward to 2018, and Mount Vernon, for the first time in centuries, has planted and harvested hemp.
It's absolutely incredibly important that hemp has come back to Mount Vernon so that we can tell even better Washington's entire story and his vision for our country.
Under the 2015 industrial hemp law passed by the Virginia General Assembly, Mount Vernon was allowed to plant the crop for research. They will use hemp as an interpretive tool to show visitors how our first president used it.
And we want people to come here and learn about the 18th century, the entire story of everything that was going on, open their eyes to how important it was in the past and what all of the folks were doing. Washington, the indentured servants, the enslaved workers.
For Circa, I'm Jennifer Munoz.